Okay, let's get this thing started. Oh, it's a big show. We are going to laugh at a CNN reporter, not with a CNN reporter. That's coming up in just a couple of minutes here on the Rusty Humphries Rebellion. But before we get there, I want to tell you about Australian Dream Arthritis Pain Relief Cream and Back Pain Relief Cream. If you've got pain, man, go to the nearest Walmart, Walgreens, or CVS. Drive right in, go to the pain section, and get these incredible products. Just rub it right on where it hurts, and lickety-split, the pain will be gone. Whether it's back pain, arthritis pain, or whatever it is, it doesn't smell, doesn't burn, it's not greasy, and best of all, there is an empty jar guarantee. Take my word for it, and if it doesn't work for you, don't worry. You can use the entire jar, send it back, and get all your money back, but you're not going to want to because it actually works. Go there, Walmart, Walgreens, CVS, for Australian Dream Arthritis Pain Relief Cream and Back Pain Relief Cream. Are you ready? Let's get to work. Well, hello there and welcome. My name is Rusty Humphries, and this is the Rusty Humphries Rebellion. Normally I got big music, but I want to get right past that because there's so much going on today that I want to share with you. Did you see the White House press conference today? It was a thing of beauty. They got this new guy. I don't even know his name. He's working with what's his name? Stephen Miller's his name, and he is one of the White House smart guys working with Trump. And there's this jerk from CNN, Jim Acosta, and see, this is why they stopped doing the press conferences on TV, because these dumbass reporters think they're so darn smart, and when they get on TV, they go and say, hey, well, we're going to get something on TV because we're important. Well, they got shown a thing or two today, and it was a thing of beauty. I want to get your take on it. By the way, if you haven't checked in, now's the time to do it. Let's get this thing started. I want to see who you are. Check in. Tell me your name. Where are you checking in from? Where are you a deplorable from? I want to see you. I want people to know who you are because, listen, you're important, man. This is not some a program where we don't give a darn rat's ass about you. We actually care. We care about our deplorables. We care about the conservatives in this country because you care about this country. Let's go and say hello. Brenda checking in from Florida. Peter's checking in from Texas. Pamela is in Indianapolis. Frank is in Alabama. Myrna says, hey, Rusty, Long Grove, Illinois. Janice, hi. Kevin, hi. Judy, hello. Michael's in Texas. Ricardo says, Congress is not working for the people of the United States. You think? Yeah, I'm with you on that one, Ricardo. Let's see. Janice is there. Joseph there. Sandra says, made me laugh. Thing of beauty. All right, let's get right to it. Okay, so this was earlier today. It was beautiful. Just sit, get a thing of popcorn, sit back, and just watch and enjoy the show. Here we go.
Yes. What you're proposing, or what the president is proposing here, does not sound like it's in keeping with American tradition when it comes to immigration. The Statue of Liberty says, give me your tired, your poor, your huddled masses, yearning to breathe free. It doesn't say anything about speaking English or being able to be a computer programmer. Aren't you trying to change what it means to be an immigrant coming into this country if you're telling them you have to speak English?
By the way, can we stop right there? I don't remember the poem on the Statue of Liberty being incorporated into the Constitution. Does anybody else remember that? I mean, was that a bad day? I just missed it. Maybe I was all hopped up on the legal marijuana the day that was voted in and went through all the states and that became law. See, this is the thing that the Democrats always do. They always go, well, it says on the Statue of Liberty, by the way, which was given to us by some guy from France. Anyway, that aside. So I don't, maybe this guy from CNN doesn't know, but that's not law. It's, what's the word? It's a poem. But let's get back to the White House conference and let's see this guy get put into his place, shall we?
Can't people learn how to speak English when they get here?
Well, first of all, right now, it's a requirement that to be naturalized, you have to speak English. So the notion that speaking English wouldn't be a part of our immigration systems would be actually very ahistorical. Secondly, I don't want to get off into a whole thing about history here, but the Statue of Liberty is a symbol of liberty enlightening the world. It's a symbol of American liberty lighting the world. The poem that you're referring to that was added later is not actually part of the original Statue of Liberty, but more fundamentally, the history, but more fundamentally,
you're saying that that does not represent.
I'm saying that
what
I'm
the
saying that
country
the
has always
notion.
thought of
I'm
as
saying the notion that
immigration coming into this
I'm saying the
country.
notion.
I'm sorry.
No,
that sounds like
Jim, let me ask you a question.
That sounds like some national park revisionism.
No,
The
what I'm asking you is,
Statue of Liberty
What a
has
douche.
always
Jim,
been
let me ask you a
beacon
question.
of hope to the world,
Jim,
for people to send
Jim, do you
their
believe-
people to this country,
Jim,
and they're not always going to speak
Jim,
English, Stephen.
Jim,
They're not
do you
always
believe-
going to be highly skilled. They're not always
Jim,
going to be
Jim,
somebody-
Jim, I appreciate your speech. Jim, I appreciate your speech. So let's talk about this.
It was a modest
Jim, let's talk about this. In 1970, when we let in 300,000 people a year, was that violating or not violating the Statue of Liberty law of the land? In the 1990s, when it was 500,000 a year, was it violating or not violating the Statue of Liberty law of the land?
Was it violating?
When it was 700,000 a year.
Statue of
No,
Liberty
tell me what
and
years.
the field
Tell
of
me
the
what
Statue of
years.
Freedom and the
Tell me
Statue
what
of
years
Deportation.
meet. Tell me what years meet Jim Acosta's definition of the Statue of Liberty poem law of the land. So you're saying 1 million a year is the Statue of Liberty number. 900,000 violates it. 800,000 violates it.
You're sort of bringing a
Jim.
press one for English philosophy here to
Jim.
immigration, and that's never
For-
been
Jim.
what the United States has been about, Steve.
That
I mean,
you're-
it's
but
just
you're
basic-
also your statement's also shockingly ahistorical in another respect too, which is if you look at the history of immigration, it's actually ebbed and flowed. We've had periods of very large waves, followed by periods of less immigration and more immigration, and during the
We're in
we've
a
had
period of immigration right now. The
Yeah,
president
it's-
wants to build a
it's
wall,
actually-
and you want
it's
to
actually-
bring about a sweeping change to the
surely,
immigration
Jim, you don't actually think that a wall affects green card policy. You couldn't possibly believe that, do you? Actually, the notion that you actually think immigration is at a historic law, the foreign-born population in the United States today,
With the
Jim,
new chief of
Jim,
staff on Monday talking about how border crossings
do you
work.
really,
Way
I
down.
want to be serious, Jim, do you really at CNN not know the difference between green card policy and illegal immigration?
Sir,
I mean, you really don't know that?
Cuban immigrant came to this country in 1962, right before the Cuban Missile Crisis, and obtained a green card. Yes, people who immigrate
Okay,
to this
so
country
Jim-
can eventually, people who
So, Jim,
immigrate
as
to
a
this
factual
country
question,
through,
Jim.
not through Ellis
Jim,
Island,
as a
as your
factual-
family
Jim,
may
as a
have,
factual
but in
question-
other ways, do obtain a green card at some point. They do it through a lot of hard work, and yes, they may learn English as a second language later on in life.
So, but
this
Jim-
this whole notion of, well, they could learn, they have to learn English before they get to the United States. Are we just going to bring in people from Great Britain and Australia?
Jim, as actually, I have to honestly say, I am shocked at your statement that you think that only people from Great Britain and Australia would know English. It's
Okay,
actually,
I got to
it
stop the
reveals your
Hold on a second. Stop the video. This is beautiful. Absolutely perfect textbook debating technique. As a matter of fact, it's so good. This technique is in my brand new book, 7 Ways to Win Political Debates with Your Liberal Family and Friends and Still Keep Them as Family and Friends. Now, I'm going to put him back on a second. But listen to what he did. He reeled the guy in. He set him up. He knew where he was going with this, and he let the guy talk. And just when it was time for this guy being a bully, he smacked him and he taught him a lesson. This is beautiful. Watch, I'm going to take it back just a second, but this is beautiful, beautiful debating techniques, and I'm proud to have this guy in my party. I really am. Let's get back to him here.
I am shocked at your statement that you think that only people from Great Britain and Australia would know English. It's actually, it reveals your cosmopolitan bias to a shocking degree that in your mind, no, this is an amazing moment. This is an amazing moment.
Okay,
That
before,
you think
okay,
only
hold on a second. This is so good. This is so good. Everybody, it's so good. Please, will you share this video right now? Everybody needs to see what this guy is going to do to the CNN reporter. It's so good. It's so beautiful. What he's doing is he's teaching the left, and he's proving that the left is racist. He's proving it. So please give us thumbs up, give us some hearts, give us some comments right now. Let's get the interaction going. But very importantly, will you please share this video right now? Everybody needs to see this CNN anchor getting bent over and just whap, just spanked, one more spank. Yes, it was beautiful. Here we go. Let's get back to this guy because it's so absolutely beautiful. Here we go.
Degree that in your mind, no, this is an amazing moment. This is an amazing moment that you think only people from Great Britain or Australia would speak English is so insulting to millions of hardworking immigrants who do speak English from all over the world. Jim, have you honestly never met an immigrant from another country who speaks English outside of Great Britain and Australia? Is that your personal experience?
Of course, there are people who come.
But
to
that's
this
not what
country
you
from other
said,
parts of the
and
world.
it shows your cosmopolitan bias. And I just want to say,
Sounds like to your engineer the
I just wanna
racial
say-
and ethnic flow of people into this country. through
Jim,
this
that is one of
policy.
the most outrageous, insulting, ignorant, and foolish things you've ever said, and for you that's still a really... The notion that you think that this is a racist bill is so wrong and so insulting. Jim, the reality is that the foreign-born population into our country has quadrupled since 1970. That's a fact. It's been mostly driven by green card policy. Now, this bill allows for immediate nuclear family members to come into the country, much as they would today, and then it adds an additional points-based system. The people who've been hurt the most, the people who've been hurt the most by the policy you're advocating are
What policy am I advocating?
apparently just unfettered, uncontrolled migration. The people who've been hurt the most by the policy.
What you're doing is for
The people who've been hurt the most by the policy that you're. The people who've been hurt the most by the policy you're advocating are immigrant workers and minority workers and African American workers and Hispanic workers.
Targeting
And it
the
has
African
no.
American community. Now, you brought it up again. You said you wanted to have a conversation and not target. Is it going to be a target?
This is
now?
what we wanna
You keep
do.
using the African American community. Are you going to target?
Okay, can we stop that right there just for a second? Can we stop? Okay, I hate these reporters when everything is about race. This woman, let me just put her up there for a second. This woman can't have a conversation without the word black being in it. She can't do it. She cannot have a conversation without the word being black in it. And what I'm trying to think what that word is. It's, what is that word? Oh yeah, racism. That's the definition of racism. What these people are doing, both these liberal, lefty pieces of garbage are doing, they are both a bunch of racists. It's not you and me. We're abiding by Dr. King. We are judging people based on the content of the character, not the color of the skin. They are the ones being the racists. They are the ones pushing the race card. They are the ones doing what they can to divide this country apart, and I will not stand for it. I know you won't either. Let's get back to the racists from CNN and the liberal mainstream media.
I'm not trying to be funny. But
Right,
you keep
I know what you're
this.
saying. What you're saying is 100% correct. We want to help unemployed African Americans in this country and unemployed workers of all backgrounds get jobs. And insinuations like Jim made, trying to ascribe nefarious motives to a compassion immigration measure designed to help newcomers and current arrivals alike, is wrong. And this is a positive, optimistic proposal that says 10 years, 20 years, 30 years from now, 10 years, 20 years, 30 years from now, we want to have an immigration system that takes care of the people who are coming here and the people who are already living here by having standards, by having a real clear requirement that you be able to support yourself financially, by making sure that employers can pay a living wage. That's the right policy for our country, and it's the president's commitment to taking care of American workers. I apologize, Jim, if things got heated, but you did make some pretty rough insinuations. So thank you. Thank you. Thank you, and I'll hand it over to Sarah. I think that went exactly as planned. I think that was what Sarah was hoping would happen. I think that was exactly what we were hoping to have happen. Thank you.
Okay, absolutely. I'm telling you, was that beautiful or what? Was that a thing of beauty? I'm so impressed. You know what? I don't know that I've seen that guy before. I think he was fantastic. And if you think he was fantastic, will you do me a favor and share the video right now? If you think he's fantastic, do us all a favor and give some thumbs up and some hearts. It was brilliant. This is what the White House has been missing. Yeah, Sean Spicer fought back a few times. He was okay at it. He wasn't great. But he wasn't as well thought out. And he didn't go in with the expressed intent of not allowing these jerks to change the narrative and make it so that President Trump looked bad for no reason. Again, I thought it was absolutely brilliant. I want to hear from you. Again, give me your comments right now. Let's see here. Okay, Brody has talked about Howard Stern about 50 times. Am I supposed to say Baba Booey and that will make you happy? Howard Stern's a great broadcaster. I'm glad you're a fan. Good for you. Okay, Pamela, that was awesome. Donald says, loved it. Lex says, ha, ha, ha. Sandra says, priceless. Diana says, what a perfect setup. Jim just got burned. Melissa says, love it. Okay, now Brody has been... now, Brody, now that you are being rude and obnoxious to other people, we're going to have to ask you to leave. See, we are a show that is respectful to all points of view. And if you've got a differing point of view, whether you're a Democrat, a Republican, an independent, you're a Green Party, you're a commie, you love Bernie Sanders, I don't care. You can have your opinion, but as long as you're respectful and you want to talk about the issue, fantastic, let's go, I'm in. But if you're going to sit there and all day long you're just going to do comments about Howard Stern, you embarrass yourself in front of everybody and you lower the IQ of the room. And believe me, Brody, you can't lower your IQ anymore. That would be very bad. I'm sure you've done enough of that with your dope. So don't do that, okay? I'm warning you, okay? You don't want your parents to have to take care of you even more. Let's see here. George says, bravo, what a great confrontation. Shared. Yes, do what George did. Share this video. Quincy shared it. Sandy says, beautiful. Frank says, awesome. Go get him. Barbara says, get rid of earned income credit and lazy scammers. Sandra says, eloquent and smart. Cindy says, brilliant, spot on. Pamela says, he and Sarah do a premium job of dealing with these turds. This show is crazy, our world. Oh, this shows how crazy our world is now. Thank you, Eileen. Great job, Paul. Magnificent. It's about time. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, good. Richard says, I've said all along that the liberals are the racist, name-calling, childish bullies who want to start stuff with grounds to do so. Get over it and move on, liberals. Okay. So that is good stuff. Thank you very much. All right, there's another great thing in today's press conference I loved. Sarah Huckabee Sanders did a great job. And here's what I love about this president. He is reaching out to little people. What you're going to see here is something that I certainly never saw Obama did. And if he did, it was quiet. I just love that they're reaching out to regular people. Listen to this story. Watch it. It's only a minute or two long. It's just fabulous. Here we go on the Rusty Humphries Rebellion.
Read you a special letter to the president from someone who embodies the enterprising and ambitious spirit of America. Frank from Falls Church, Virginia wrote, Dear Mr. President, it would be my honor to mow the White House lawn for some weekend for you. Even though I'm only 10, I'd like to show the nation what young people like me are ready for. I admire your business background and have started my own business. I've been mowing my neighbors' lawns for some time. Please see the attached flyer. Here's a list of what I have, and you're free to pick whatever you want. Power mower, push mower, and weed whacker. I can bring extra fuel for the power mower and charged batteries for the weed whacker, and he'll do that with no charge. Sincerely, Frank. Frank, I'm happy to report back to you that I just spoke with the president. He wanted me to be sure and tell you that you're doing a great job and keep working hard. He also asked me, we found out when we called to let you know that we would be reading this letter to wish you a happy birthday. I think Frank went from 10 to 11 in the time that we received and were able to respond to this letter. And he also wanted me to invite you to spend a morning here at the White House with the groundskeeper.
Okay. How awesome is that? I mean, 10-year-old kid says, I love business. I'm mowing the lawns. I'd like to do it at the White House. And the president says, yes, come on and hang out. Meet the groundskeeper. I love it. That's, again, that's what's great about this president. He's actually listening to people. He's actually doing things that make people feel good. We had an entire 8 years, and even before that, Bush didn't do a great job of forcing Americans to feel terrible about themselves. And, it's just wrong. I've said it before, I'll say it again. No country in the history of the world has done more to help poor people, sick people, done more to spread freedom around the world. No country in the history of the world has come close. Yes, we've made mistakes. Oh, well, America, you guys are a bunch of slave owners. Okay. America didn't start slavery. Slavery was in almost every civilization since the beginning of time. And what did Western civilization do? Oh, there's no difference between our civilization and any other civilization. Of course there is. What Western civilization did was we stopped slavery. And we had a war where hundreds of thousands of Americans fought to stop slavery. You can go to Africa. I've been to Africa. I've met people who were slaves the day before, just gotten freed. Slavery still exists. We stopped it. Why is that not a thing in our country? Because we have taught the children of today and the children of the past couple generations that you are a victim. If you don't feel good about yourself, you're a victim. Oh, wah. Quit being a wussy. All of y'all. All y'all quit being wussies. Life is not fair. The world is not fair. Hey, I'm a fat white guy. Heterosexual on top of that. Do you think I'm getting anything fair right now? Hell no. White privilege. Give me a break. I grew up during the time of, what'd they call it? I forget. Where we had to base everything on race. And boy, the amount of jobs, college tuition things I didn't get, because everything was judged on race and I was a heterosexual, good-looking white guy. Oh, but look at you now, Rusty. You were the 6th largest talk show in the country. You got one of the biggest podcasts in the world. You're broadcast on Facebook Live. Yeah, do you think I'm sitting around all day long? I have worked every day of my life. I've done this job for 30-something years. Man, I'm getting old. Dan says, sorry, Rusty, but I think Bush did one hell of a job keeping all of us safe. Plus, Bush did visit schools. He did. And I'm not saying Bush did a horrible job. As a matter of fact, my cousin is his Secret Service agent. It's not that I'm against President Bush. He did a couple of times. Can you hear me? Yes, I hear you, and the rest of the world will hear you. That was great. There is the part of being a president, part of being a leader. What makes a good leader is that the leader not only leads you to be your best self, but a leader helps you to feel good about what it is that you're doing. Now, one of the things us conservatives are not great at, we are very good at reason and logic and facts and figures. We're not very good at helping people with their emotions. Democrats are excellent at it. They use emotion as a very powerful weapon. I'm not saying we want to weaponize emotions. I think we need to back them off a little bit in our country. That's, again, all about the feelings and the touchy-feely crap that's going on in high schools and colleges. But what I am saying, though, is that the idea of our country feeling good about being Americans, about us feeling good about Americans, being Americans, here's another one that we don't do enough of. What is the benefit in being a citizen of our country right now if anybody can come in and get all of the benefits and more just by sneaking in? And that I have a big, big problem with. Patricia wants to know, when did the word white become a 4-letter word? Good question. Pamela says, we love you, Rusty. I just wish the show was longer. Affirmative action. Thank you, Kenny. I forgot. You know what? It's such a lousy thing, affirmative action. It sounds good, affirmative action does. Well, I've been kept down, and it's because of my race, and I grew up in a poor part of town, and a lot of those things are true. But life wasn't easy for me. My father was killed in Vietnam when I was 3 years old. I grew up in a tough family. I remember a Thanksgiving. My parents, my dad, my stepdad, he's a good guy. We did not get along when I was growing up. We do now. And my stepdad owned a business that fixed radiators in your car. And I remember Boeing went on strike. I lived in Seattle. Boeing went on strike, and there was no money in town. The whole town dried up financially. It was terrible. And we didn't have a Thanksgiving dinner. And somehow some church organization found out about it. I don't know how. And they came to the door, and they brought the turkey and the stuffing. It was all in a basket. That may have been one of the low points of my dad's life. He's very proud, even to this day. We just found out a couple weeks ago, he has bladder cancer. He's going to have a surgery next week. And I told some people this. Our audience is growing so much every day. I sometimes have to repeat stories. So if you've been around for a while, sorry about that. But got a phone call on, I think it was like Saturday, a couple weeks ago. Hey, Rusty, what's going on? Oh, not much, Dad. What's going on with you? Oh, yeah, I forgot to tell you. I got bladder cancer, and I'm going to have a surgery to try to remove some of the cancer on Monday. Anyway, got to go. I mean, that's the kind of guy he is. My point being, this whole idea of white privilege is silly. I didn't grow up rich. I succeeded because I don't give up. I have succeeded because I continue to work. Boy, if I told you stories of things that have happened to me in my career, it would make you cry. Not complaining. It happens to everybody. Nobody's life is easy. I'm sure there's some people who are given stuff. You know, they won the Lucky Sperm Club. But even those people have problems. Drugs, alcohol, horrible family lives. So this whole idea of we're going to give somebody something extra. And that's all the liberals can think of. How can we steal money from me to give to you? How can we take from this group to give to somebody else? And they don't do it because they care about that person. They don't do it because they know giving all this money to people doesn't help. Now, let me clarify one other thing. If you've had a rough time, let's just say you lost your job, and you don't know what you're going to do I think we as a country should help you out with some food and maybe some shelter and health care until you can get back on your feet? Abso-freaking-lutely. Oh, but you're a socialist, Russ. My dog is scratching on my door back there. Sorry. Wendy, settle down. Do I think we should be able to help? Yes. Because I do believe that if I have a rough time or you have a rough time, we're going to get back to work, and then we're going to pay even more in taxes, and we'll be able to help each other out. That I'm okay with. What I'm not okay with is when it's a lifestyle choice to live on the government, and then a whole political party lives on taking advantage of those people, keeping them down, just giving them just enough they can survive, but not enough that they can ever succeed. That's where it's wrong. Randy says your father was a hero. Your stepfather sounds like a good man also. Yes, thank you, Randy. Janice says every one of us have had a tough time. Sue says, what white privilege? What's that? I work for a living. If I'm really lucky, it's only 40 hours a week. Jim has shared the video. Jim, thank you. You rock. Everybody else, if you haven't shared the video, please share it. This is how we go around the mainstream media. We can't do it unless you help us. We have to work in certain constraints, but we're able to go around the mainstream media. I don't need to use a radio station anymore. I don't have to have the corporate edicts coming from on top telling me what I can and can't say. That's why this is great. We're going right to you, the people, the good people, hardworking Americans. It's one of the other things that frustrates me about unions. Well, we're hardworking. We're the hardworking men and women of America. Oh, I'm not hardworking? People who aren't in unions aren't hardworking? I'm sorry. Screw you. We're hardworking Americans, too. I'm not saying you in a union are not hardworking Americans, but we're damn hardworking Americans. And I don't have a union backing me up. Do you? Now, again, I'm not picking on union people. I don't like the way unions try to screw business, and I really don't like unions in the government sector. I don't think there's any place for them there. That's my opinion. What do you think? Nicholas says, preach it, brother, LOL. Glenn says, I've been there myself. Joy says, I'm going up. Prayers are going up for your dad. God is always in control. Thank you. What else do we have here? Dave says, I agree, no free rides. Myrna says, shared it 10 minutes ago. Lance says, Clinton could have killed bin Laden. Little off topic. I agree with you, but just topic here. You went over there. It's okay. Glenn says, let's see here. Scott says, nothing is free. If you take welfare, you should have to pay it back. I don't have a problem with that. Pamela says, I recently lost my job. The struggle is real. You know, the truth is that, during that Obama economy, I was out of work too. I mean, and I'm sorry, I'm one of the hardest workers you'll ever meet. And even our company went down. And it was one of the most difficult times of my life. 2 children. A career I had worked at since I was 16 years old, and it all seemed over. And you can say, oh, you're blaming Obama for something he didn't do. Baloney. All these crazy, idiotic regulations, Obamacare, it has destroyed businesses. That's why John McCain, again, I used to hate John McCain as much as I hated the Nazis. Now I wish for John McCain to find his own he's going to find his own special place in hell. Because of the amount of people that he has hurt with his show. It was disgusting and disappointing. I'm not wishing him pain or death. I don't wish cancer, brain cancer on anybody. But he will have to answer for what he's done. And he will have to answer for the millions of people that have supported him over the years that he stabbed in the back. And he will answer. And I thank God I'm not John McCain. Ronald says, hey, if liberals want our hardworking Americans to give our money to illegals and lazy people, give your money, not mine. Quincy says, the working man mentality must be willing to do. Tommy says, dude, love your show. Sorry about your stepdad. Lost my mom to cancer. Prayers your way. Thank you. Pamela says, unions had a purpose way back in the day. Julie says, I work hard every day. No union, no pension. Every day I'm grateful I have a job. David said, working you put in. You never worked, you never put in, but the working man or working women get nothing in return. Having a hard time understanding that one, David. Sorry. Dan says, if welfare is such an insidious liberal program, why are red states and conservative voters the ones who receive the lion's share of the federal assistance? Dan, you are, what's the word? Dan is a, liar. Liar. You're reading and following liberal talking points that aren't true. I'm not going to allow lies and propaganda to be pushed out on these airwaves. So, Dan, you're a liar, and I call you out on it. Thank you. Quincy says, Pamela, I hope the best for you. William says, I agree there should be no union in government. Joey says, I have no problem helping those who help themselves. To take advantage of our country is just disgraceful to real Americans who truly love this country. Very true. Anyway, this continues. Janice, my love, I had a marina 35 years, big box store, moved in, we lost. Anyway, a lot of great calls. Thank you for check-ins. I really appreciate it. I want to remind you, if you've never checked out my podcast, it's called The Rusty Humphries Rebellion, and you can find it at iTunes and Stitcher. And if you would go over there and just check it out and give a nice little review, I would really appreciate it. Share that with your friends or share this video. Let people know what it is that we're doing here. Also, this is not a big corporate radio show. I am working hard every day, just like you are, to try to make $1. And one of the ways I make very little money, but I do it because it's fun, is I put out a book. It's called 7 Ways to Win Political Debates with Your Liberal Family and Friends and Still Keep Them as Family and Friends. It's a fun book. Ben Shapiro, who is right now one of America's great conservative debaters, he had a nice little quote in here. Ben wrote, Rusty Humphries' new book is a textbook on debating the left. Read it now and become a better fight for the cause. Thank you, Ben. Stacey Dash. The beautiful, talented Stacey Dash. You remember her she was on Fox News, and she was in that TV show, the movie Clueless. Oh, there was a TV show Clueless, too. She writes, I've been in more political debates than I care to remember. I wish I had this book a few years ago. I've worked with Rusty Humphries. He's incredible. I love him. Stacey Dash loves me. La, 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 la. I love you too, Stacey Dash. Anyway, if you'd check out those books, again, they're only available at Amazon. You can get it paperback, Kindle, and the Audible version, which I read myself, and it's cheap. I couldn't control how much the Audible version was, and it's practically given away. And if you've never been a member of Audible, you can get my book for free if you just go there and sign up for Audible and pick my book. They'll give it to you free. What a deal. What a deal. Melissa says, first time seeing your show. Definitely will check you out. Thank you very much. Myrna says, I'm a little lovable fuzzball. Thank you. Dan says, for those people who are out of a job, jobs are coming back to America. I see it here in Ohio. A lot of places are hiring, like Dan and Yogurt, Aunt Millie's Bread Company. Good luck. And so many more. Thank you, Dan. Yes, I am looking forward to the Trump economy really picking up. And it's starting to. It's hitting the rich folks first. It's doing the Dow's doing great. It doesn't help everybody. It's a good start, though. I'd rather have it that than nothing. Sherry says, I work my ass off as a paramedic. Minimal pay, transport people all the time, the worst moment of their life. See what government assistance supports? Drug abuse at an all-time high. I take drug tests to get and keep my job with no government assistance. I just feel like they should have to take drug tests, too. I agree with that. If you get money from everybody else, I think you should take a drug test. What I don't want, what is happening in a lot of places, not every place, not every person, but far too many, is that people get food stamps and welfare, whatever they get, and that money subsidizes their side jobs so they can take that money and go use it for things that they shouldn't be doing, as you know. Regina says, oh, Rusty, I love you. You tell people straight. Thank you. Tim says, love your show, Rusty. Perry says, liar, liar, pants on fire, Dan. Wayne says, unions have their purpose. It needs to be better controlled to coincide with what the employers need. All right. Marilyn says, you're a cool dude with chipmunk cheeks. First time watching. Yes, I know. I'm trying to get rid of the chipmunk cheeks. I'm working on it. This too's got to go. I was in really good shape not that long ago, and I was running marathons and stuff, and then I had this great idea. If I ran 5 marathons, that's 26.2 miles. If I did 5 marathons in 54 days, I'd be able to join this club and buy a T-shirt called the Marathon Maniacs, and I did it, and then I got hurt. Wah. I know, I'm complaining. Should all members of Congress receive drug tests? Yes. Glenn says, I got tired of working for others. I started my own business. I'm doing what I can, driving a truck, but I'm making no more working for peanuts. If the government would just quit stealing my money, throw Obamacare and all that crap going to illegals and people who just won't work, it's nice to see our president that cares about us. I agree with that, too. And there was a big thing today about the president coming out and making a big change in the immigration policy. Let me play a little bit of that for you here. It's a little bit long of a clip, but I want you to hear this. Senator Tom Cotton and Senator David Perdue and President Trump have unveiled a new immigration bill. And let's just watch a little bit of it here on the Rusty Humphries Rebellion.
System in a half a century. I want to thank Senators Tom Cotton and David Perdue for their tremendous work in putting together this historic and very vital proposal. As a candidate, I campaigned on creating a merit merit-based immigration system that protects U.S. workers and taxpayers, and that is why we are here today, merit-based. The RAISE Act, R-A-I-S-E, the RAISE Act will reduce poverty, increase wages, and save taxpayers billions and billions of dollars. It will do this by changing the way the United States issues green cards to nationals from other countries. Green cards provide permanent residency, work authorization, and fast track to citizenship. For decades, the United States was operated and has operated a very low-skilled immigration system, issuing record numbers of green cards to low-wage immigrants. This policy has placed substantial pressure on American workers, taxpayers, and community resources. Among those hit the hardest in recent years have been immigrants and, very importantly, minority workers competing for jobs against brand-new arrivals. And it has not been fair to our people, to our citizens, to our workers. The RAISE Act ends chain migration and replaces our low-skilled system with a new points-based system for receiving a green card. This competitive application process will favor applicants who can speak English,
Love it.
financially support themselves and their families,
Love it.
and demonstrate skills that will contribute to our economy.
Love, love, love it.
The RAISE Act prevents new migrants and new immigrants from collecting welfare and protects U.S. workers from being displaced. And that's a very big thing. They're not going to come in and just immediately go and collect welfare. That doesn't happen under the RAISE Act. They can't do that. Crucially, the green card reforms in the RAISE Act will give American workers a pay raise by reducing unskilled immigration. This legislation will not only restore our competitive edge in the 21st century, but it will restore the sacred bonds of trust between America and its citizens. This legislation demonstrates our compassion for struggling American families who deserve an immigration system that puts their needs first and that puts America first.
Yep.
Finally, the reforms in the RAISE Act will help ensure that newcomers to our wonderful country will be assimilated, will succeed, and will achieve the American dream. I'd like now to invite Senator Cotton and Senator Perdue to say a few words. Thank you. Thank you very much.
We don't need to hear from those guys. I'm sure they're swell, and what they're going to say is fantastic. But that's a big step. And again, the idea that we want to encourage people that come to our country to speak English. Wow, what a concept. Oh, my gosh, it's racist. It's not racist. You can't go to France and try to immigrate there if you don't speak the language. You can't go to many other countries and do that, and nor should you want to. Why would you want to go to another country where you don't understand the language, you don't understand the culture, you don't got a job, you ain't got no money? I'm sorry. We have the right and responsibility to our posterity to make sure that the best and brightest come to America, not just anybody that can sneak across the border. Do you agree with me, my brothers and sisters? Yes or no? CNN hates it, says Glenn. Just watching Anderson Cooper, he was having a bad night, let's just say. Let's see here. Cindy says it's an incredible plan. It's huge. It's fair. It's well thought out. William says Lindsey Graham posted on Facebook saying he didn't like it. Also say it affects legal immigrants. If Lindsey Graham doesn't like it and his sexual boyfriend, John McCain, don't like it, then Trump must be right. Oh, yeah, I said that they're boyfriends. Absolutely. I have no doubt whatsoever that John McCain and Lindsey Graham are, if you know what I mean. But that's just my personal guess. I have never seen them or anything. I'm just guessing, if you know what I mean. Anything else? I think that's about it for me. There's a lot of other stuff going on, but we don't want to have a 10-hour show. We didn't want to have a 3-hour show. I barely want to have a 1-hour show. I come on here every day. I talk to you on Facebook Live, on Right Wing News. I want to thank the nice folks at Right Wing News. They're so awesome. And, we just do it. We do a show, and then we put the podcast up. And I hope you like it. And we want you to be a part of this. I want this to be one of the most interactive programs on not just talk radio or any radio, but online as well. So I want to hear from you. I love hearing what you have to say. I love you participating. That's what this is all about. So if you would, do me a favor. Comment, share the video, let people know about it. Oh, by the way, I got another podcast we just started. It is, have you ever heard of Orson Scott Card? Orson Scott Card is one of the greatest writers of our time. He's a science fiction writer. He writes a bunch of other stuff, too. And he wrote a book called Ender's Game. Anyway, Scott and I have a brand new podcast that we just put out yesterday. And it's called We Review Everything. What do we do on it? Well, we review everything. Movies, toilet paper, software, play, whatever's on the mind. Go to iTunes and find it. You can type in Orson Scott Card. It'll probably come up. Or my name, Rusty Humphries, and Orson Scott Card. You can find it. And it's a fun show. You'll like that. So, and I don't even have a picture of it up yet. Shame on me. We'll get that up very soon. Would you also go to my website? It is rustylive.com. rustylive.com. On there, you'll find good stuff. And if you're somebody that wants to get more involved in the media and you'd like to have a media coach, the best media coach in the world, don't want to brag, but that's me. I'd love to help you. Just go to my website and there's contact information. I'd love to help you out if I can, okay? Also, again, Australian Dream Arthritis Pain Relief Cream and Back Pain Relief Cream. Awesome stuff. My friend John Hawkins has a book. He runs Right Wing News. It's called 101 Thing All Young Adults Should Know. That's available at Amazon. So is my book, 7 Ways to Win Political Debates with Your Liberal Family and Friends and Still Keep Them as Family and Friends. Another great podcast is Blunt Force Truth, hosted by my good pal, Chuck Woolery, and my other good pal, Mark Young. They do a great show, and it's very political. It's very good. Chuck Woolery is very sharp. If you've never heard him, very conservative. You'd like his show. Find that at iTunes, Stitcher. Again, iTunes has great, easy way to get podcasts. That's it for me. Thank you so much. I do appreciate you. May God bless you, and may God bless America. My name is Rusty Humphries, and this is the Rusty Humphries Rebellion. Scooby-Dooby-Doo. Scooby-Dooby-Dooby. Yeah. Thanks for hanging out. Do appreciate you. Come on back anytime now, would you? Doop, 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 doop.